as I disappear. I'm back.
There you go.
All right, we have f of x equals 2x minus 3. Now the f of x is the same thing as y, right? Okay, so we can change this to y is equal to 2x minus 3. Now they have a little bit different notation that we're not familiar with, and that's this little -1, although you have seen that like with sine and cosine. Remember that little -1 just meant inverse, where we found the angle instead of the side ratio. So this means find the inverse at x equals 4. Does everybody remember there was a two-step process in finding inverse? Anybody recall how to find an inverse? It's pretty easy. It has to do with x and y. Do you remember?
I used to know this. Let's see. Y. I can't remember. You like flip it and then the.
Yeah, actually that's it. You change the x and the y. That's an inverse, okay? So recall this a little bit. The y and the x we just switch. Okay. So this would be x is equal to 2y minus 3. All right, now they talk about implicit and explicit form. Okay, this is considered implicit form. And the difference between implicit and explicit is implicit is not in y equals 4 and explicit is. Okay? That, when they use those terms, don't get confused, that's all they're talking about. So this is an implicit. The second step that we did with it was we solved for y to get it into explicit form. So to do that, we would just add 3 to that side, so we get 2y is equal to x plus 3, divide by 2. There'll be a coefficient of 1 there. Divide these both by 2. We get y is equal to 1/2 x plus 3/2. Alright, now that's the inverse, okay, in explicit form. The only other thing that we need to do is what? It said f inverse of 4. So what am I going to do finally? Jacob?
Put 4 in.
Yeah, substitute 4 in for x. Okay. So f inverse of 4, just replace the x with 4. Excuse me. Thank you. All right, so we add those up, 4/2 plus 3/2. Y would just equal 7/2. Okay, that's example number 1. All right, example number 2. I'm going to shift it over here. Okay, no different process. The only thing is we're dealing with natural log, which is going to be a little bit different. All right. What?
Can't see it.
The problem's too high?
Yeah.
Where's the cutoff?
Right there.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, the skiers, you guys watching the video, they're dealing with slope, aren't they? So they should be doing calculus with the slope and figure out what it is. That's your assignment. F, remember this means inverse. Okay, what do we do first? What do we do first on the other one? Nick?
Y equals 4. Yes.
Okay. Haven't changed the problem at all though, right? Okay, that's just rewriting it in y equals form to help us. Okay, then what do we do? What is the inverse? What do we do for the inverse? Mike? What do we do with the y and the x? This is still the same. It's a different form. How do I switch it to its inverse?
Would you divide by 4?
Not yet. We have it y equals, but that's not its inverse. What do we gotta do, Tyler?
Switch the x and y.
Yeah, remember to switch the variables, okay? We gotta switch and change our y to x and yada yada. Alright, now this is the, okay, what's a little bit different. We don't deal with this that much. We did when we had problems that increased exponentially and things like that, but that's been a while, maybe last year. Alright, what would I do first to solve for y? First part's pretty easy. What would we do? Tristan?
Divide by 4?
Yeah, divide by 4. Okay, now we have natural log of y is equal to x over 4. What is the inverse of natural log? What goes with the ln?
Absolute x.
That's, you're thinking of when we took the derivative of it, the inverse. Libby? E. Okay, so what we actually do with this is we take e to that power of both. You remember we did this way back when we had a of t is equal to a sub 0 e to the kt. Remember those type of problems that grew exponentially? Old problems. Okay. Maybe we don't remember. I'm supposed to be the old guy. All right, so we get y is equal to e to the x over 4. All right, and the last step. Okay, once we have y equals, what are we going to do last? Mike?
Put 8 in for x?
Yeah, put 8 in for x, so we'd have e to the 8 over 4 is equal to y, so y would just equal e squared. All right, I'll come back over here for the next one. All right, example number 3. We have f of x is equal to 2x minus 3. And f inverse of x is equal to 1/2 x plus 3 over 2. Okay, find f inverse composed of f of 6 and f composed of f inverse of 6. Now, we used to have these where to prove that they were inverses of each other, we would put the one inside of the other and do the opposite, and we should have got x. Okay, well, if both of these, now we have an actual number of 6. If we put this in, put the function into it, okay, we should get a result of 6 when we do that. All right, so first of all, we'll do the f inverse composed of f of x. Okay. So we're putting f inverse into f. How would I write that? Actually, the best thing to do is put 6 in first. Put 6 into this, we would get 12 minus 3, we would get 9. Put 6 into here, we would get 6/2 plus 3/2, which would be 9/2. You see what I did there? Okay, just put 6 in first, okay, to get 9. Okay, put 6 in here. We worked a little bit with these before. All right, so f inverse composed of f of x. Actually, the best thing to do, the easiest thing, is just take the result of f of x, which is 9, and plug it into this. Okay, so take the result of f of x, 6, put that into here. Okay, so we have 1/2 times 9 plus 3/2 would equal what? What would that equal? 9 times 1/2 plus 3/2 would equal what?
Seven half.
No? more than that. 9/2 plus 3/2. Mike?
Is this 6?
Yeah, it would equal 9/2 plus 3/2 would be 12/2, right? And then we'd get 6, which we should expect because when we're putting the inverse in. All right, then we have f composed of f inverse of 6. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to take the result of this one, 9/2, and then put it into there. So we have 2 times 9/2 minus 3. What do we get there? Should be able to predict it. What do we get, Angel? 6. Okay, we get 18/2 minus 3, which is 6 as well. Okay, which if they're inverses, that should happen every time. All right, finally example number 4. How we doing on the video, Jacob?
Good.
Has it timed out, or have you
Nope.
started it over? It's still going?
Yep.
How long has it been?
11.
Guess we'll go until it quits.
Too high.
Huh?
Too high.
That one wasn't though?
No, just the 9 was.
Wow, I guess it's because of that table. Alright, so it asks us to find f inverse of 9. Start off with y over 3